Peace, power, and love. Humam Abdulmalik again with Blackanized International Nubian Consciousness. Conscious chess moves with us again before the sun rises. Words of understanding, words of motivation, stimulation, and agitation for us to become energized through realization and to realize our position in this realm, in this dimension, and that we as a people need to come together. We've been going through this same redundant request for generations and generations, because we're generationally affected by the outcome of us succumbing to frequency and vibrations of disunity or indoctrination of disunity based on our perception of what is freedom, what is unity. It's a prescription. There's a prescription for us to come together, to be unified and organized, and in the development of an infrastructure. The same prescription that we had before in our society, within the society. It's like multi-corporations. It's like a circle within a circle. We had example of that in this era some years earlier, 3 or 4, maybe more locations than that, with Black Wall Streets. We had whole cities of banks, taxi cabs, transportation, hotels, and everything were ran efficiently by us, so it can be done. We definitely have to do this. Today is Thursday. Thursday, the 19th. One more day, and we got a new corporation coming in, a new CEO of the corporation, a real true businessman with business on his mind. We seen it, we heard it, now we're going to experience it. Are we ready for the experience? Are we ready for anything that might happen? We don't really know what's going to happen. We are speculating. And now speculation is based on ideologies and temperament or perspectives of a group of people that have a totally separate outlook on the development of humanity or whatever. I was talking to a brother yesterday in Secrets of Nature, Corey's spot over there on South Capitol Street, and he was saying that the guy that's coming, the CEO that's coming in, his thing, people are satisfied. A lot of people are satisfied with his concept of the tax cut. Okay, he says it's going to be a big tax cut. If people at 35%, the tax cut going to come to 15 or whatever. And say that's what people, is rallying around the flag of the dude Trump. But I asked the question, who is that for? Or, who's going to be affected by this this great tax cut that everybody's so happy with or overjoyed? And he said those multi billionaires or multi-millionaires. And I looked and I said, so that's for those. What about the rest of the population? You know, it's us and other people in this class system that let me see, that's going to be affected by it in another way, in the same way, but it's on as below, so below. What about those that's below? We ain't talking about the above. We ain't talking about like Ronald Reagan with his trickle down effect and all that. You know, some people like it's all about money, but the money is not an equal flow. Let me 1 second. Excuse me, 1 second, please. I want to get something. Give me 1 second. The brother who I was talking to it's funny who you can meet, you know, by divine decree, because I was talking to somebody else and he was sitting across from us eating and stuff. This is a brother named Andy Edwards, right? This brother is a comedian. Not only that, in D.C., he from D.C., or he had his comedian stint in D.C., and he the one that made that statement, right? But this is his book. He gave this to me free. He autographed it and stuff. You know, he autographed it. But his book is on the history of stand-up comedy in the nation capital at its birthplace. And he was talking about places like up on Georgia Avenue. What was that number of the place? They had 3 floors up there where they used to do comedy. And another thing that came out of our meeting with his book, I didn't go into it. He gave it to me yesterday. He gave it to me absolutely free because of our conversation. Look who he got on the back. That's him right there. And that's Dick Gregory. But this brother was a comedian at a whole lot of spots up there, uptown and stuff, on Georgia Avenue. Some of the comedians he dealt with is Wanda Sykes, Dave Chappelle, Martin Law, Tommy Davis. And he gave me, we had a good conversation, and everything happened by divine decree, no matter what it is, the good and the bad and all that. But he give you the history of stand-up comedy. He got Peter Green in there and all that. And another thing, he another good friend of mine, a very iconic historical figure in Washington, D.C., a Washingtonian. That's Yangle Elwood Sawyer, a very strong brother. Me and him met in college. Me and him put plays on together. We locked down the college one time. We had everybody there. We had the Europeans there. We had the Muslims there, the Christians there, and everything. It was a Black History Month. But everybody came together because of what our conversations were about. It was about unification of the people that was going to college with their different degrees or whatever. When I say I went to college, that meant that, you know, that was in that slow motion world of incarceration, of a different lifestyle that a person lived. But you have to go in there and change. You can't go in there and just allow time to do you. You must do the time. You must develop your mind, your spirituality, everything, physical and everything. It becomes a college for a lot of people. Some of the most intelligent people in this country are incarcerated. A lot of people are political prisoners. Believe it or not, I was one of those people that was in college for reasons that were no reasons, because I shouldn't have been there, but there's no complaint because everything happened by divine decree. It made me a better human being. It changed my mentality from a criminal mentality to a spiritual mentality, evolutionary mentality, a righteous mentality, to a person to get to this point from coming out of college in 93, 94, and still here on this side of the minimum security and so-called freedom or whatever. But my purpose and aim since I've been there is to uplift myself and my people to the understanding of who we are culturally and historically through the information and through my insight that I have acquired over the years of the 60-something, going on 61 revolutions around the sun, and being a student teacher of that, and being in natural inclination with that by the divine decree on the pathway of my ancestors that I proclaim, that I submit my will to. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm right before you now. Everybody that's viewing this program, I'll say it's a program because I'm programming myself, and we being programmed, reprogrammed, because that's what we had to do to get that other program out of our system, the institutionalized racism of white supremacy and the Willie Lynch syndrome that we have been programmed. And it's a lot of it's mass mind control that we got to overcome and all that, because they're masters of that. I see Sister Lisa is on. Good morning, Sister. Revolutionary sister. That's a strong sister. But we as a people, we have to come together. And, sometimes it sounds redundant, but we have to keep going over this, because we have to heal. We have to heal within ourselves. We must have self-love. We must have self-esteem. We must be strong as a people, as individuals, so we can deal on a collective basis, so we can come together in unification. And we all, have issues that we must overcome eternally within our temple, within the energy of our universe, to become better people, better brothers and sisters, through the concept of love, peace, and a harmonious position or disposition towards each other. We have to do this continuously. Every day we wake up, we got to wake up with purpose. We got to wake up with goals, or we set a goal to reach. And we strive for that goal. The goal of unification, the goal for a personal attainment or whatever. But we should not overlook our community, overlook our brothers and sisters. We should develop a concept of extended family members. We should develop a concept of a village, of family, of love between us. And we must teach our children, guide our children, discipline our children with mannerism, characterization, and personality development. We need to give our children the story of who they are, their culture, and their history, so that it won't be no mystery, so that, they just don't come out in this world and be bombarded with all these commercialized lies and being directed to go this way or go that way. We have to, starting from our homes, to develop our children in a way that they be strong. They have a strong disposition. They have a strong identity. They have strong character. They have self-esteem, critical thinking skills. One of my methods of reaching our youth, and that's from 8 on up to whatever, is chess, the game of chess. Because chess is a very strategical game that we play, and it's very intellectual, based on intelligence and strategy. and it develops critical thinking skills that you can apply in life. It's a game that I use to reach the youth in Ward 8 or all over where I come into them. But I had Conscious Chess Move is the name of my chess club that I developed or method to reach the youth that I've dealt with. And in doing that, I had we as a team, the youth really, I was just provided a space to bring the youth together and bring stuff together to attract them there. But it was the love of chess that got them there. And they were some of the best youth, not at first in the community, they was rowdy and all that, but through discipline and stuff like that, they became well disciplined so that people in the community would see them and say, man, that boy changed, hey, chess, did this. And in their school, academically, they changed. They already had the potential, but to like focus that potential, focus that, man, you can be better, man. It's about being honor roll student in school. It's about being the best that you can be. It's about being a leader in this community. Most of the people that was on Conscious Chess Moves Chess Club, honor roll students. Discipline, their behavior kind of changed, and like with the trophies they were getting, they won like 10 first place team trophies around the city in tournaments. A DC Chess Challenge, brother Vaughn, I forget his name. He used to give tournaments around the city. Vaughn Jones, I believe. We won a couple over there, and then it was another chess club. Or what's that? Bum Roughs to Boards. We won a tournament there. Then we gave a couple of tournaments there that I've done at Anacostia Library. Is where the base that I started at Anacostia Library and Francis Gregory Library and Parkland Library and William Lockridge Library with the chess teams or the, teaching chess to the youth. But the base of the chess team was at Anacostia Library, and like I said, we won 10 first place trophies around the city. Where they did. They was so very enthusiastic in learning the game and playing the game. And you should see their faces with trophies like 3 feet tall or 2 feet tall or whatever. We won chesses. Just giving a shout out to the chess guru of Southeast, sort of. Big Chair started. And then he had a chess house over there on Sheriff Road, Mr. Eugene Brown, who wrote a book. Also, a movie was made about him. I don't have the book, but I seen the movie. He's supposed to be sending me a book. Mr. Eugene Brown had the Big Chair Chess Club and very prolific teacher. And one of his concepts is think before you move. That's what we have to do in life. And not just bringing up chess to emphasize a way that we can reach, ways that we reach our youth other than, just basketball, football, boxing, and all those type of contact sports or whatever. You can, chess is a sport that you use your mind, and also that you can also get scholarships to college. And we got to, like I said, we have to develop our children from the home first. We need to give them, open their mind to who they are so they be fortified, like when they do go to college or they do go to school. So that the social narcotics that's taught in school and that schools now try to dumb down our children. But if our children are prepared, starting with us and the mothers, then they're going to be all right because they be fortified, fortified with the identity of who they are, fortified with manners and personality and all that. Our children must be disciplined. We must discipline our children. They must develop self-control and discipline at an early age. So when they grow up, the influence of the outside world won't be that much upon them. We see what's happening in our inner cities across the country. That they, through their lack of discipline and lack of self-control, they get caught up in the whirlwind of what's ever happening in society. They get picked up and get recruited in social organizations that are of a negative energy, but far as to them is a positive endeavor because they're receiving funds or whatever. But the detriment of their activity is more negative than the positive because it's hurtful. People can get hurt in their activities or whatever. So if we give them guidance and they be fortified, then the lack of negative activity in our community by a group of young people that be the next generation of leaders. And society always promote the negative activity of everything in our communities instead of the positive things, the things that our young youth achieve, whatever area it is, academic, athletics, social, everything, but they don't promote that. They don't put that out in the media because they want us to be looked upon as, there's a negative group of people. So any harm that come from their hand, they deserve it because they this, they that. But in reality, we got a lot of negative energy, but we got a lot of positive energy in our communities. And we got it in every pocket of our community. We got it in the Christian community. We got it in the Islamic community. We got it in the Hebrew community. We got it in the conscious community. But we got to pull it together. I would say this here. I think that the conscious community with those religious bases, the conscious community give us more because I think it take us back more to information pocket that pertains to us as Moors, no pun intended. But, Moors is a group of us that come from here. But see, they reverse this whole thing on us and we don't realize that a lot of activity went on here. See, we was here before Columbus. We were here before these Europeans and the Spanish even thought about coming over here. That's why we got to know our story. We got to know that Mansa Musa came over here, took a whole group, came over here and didn't even come back. He sent another group of Muslims from, I think it's the Malak Empire or whatever, to go find him, and they ain't come back. But then one came back, and the information was, we over there, and we setting up civilizations and all that, and we all up and down South America and all up and down the Colorado River and all that. That those people like the Seminole Native Americans and those Native Americans, they were us. Less people came from the continent of Africa over here than more was here, was taken out of here and then went over to Europe and all that. And we got to read and study our history, our story. You got to read like Ivan Van Sertima. They came before Columbus and stuff like that. That's the historical account of the reality. And there's other informations out there. I was on a call last night with a group of brothers that's trying to come together and do things across the country that will probably be talked about more or whatever. But all politics are local. By me being in Washington, D.C., Ward 8. That's where I'm sustained at. This is where my focus is at, eternally upon myself first, development of my family and household and all that, then my community. In this quagmire of deceptive maze that we're in, and sometimes we got to work through it and work in it, but we got to do it through discipline and discipline and achievement and development, growth and development. Like my good brother DM Don T, DT Don T Miller, my strong brother. Man, it's going great, man. We up before the sun again, man. Trying to motivate self and our connections, our brothers and sisters. I'm glad you joining in again. Brother be up with me every day that I'm on. He up too, gives me motivation, But in this quagmire, we got to come together. We got to discipline our children from their early ages, so when they come up, they will be fortified with some discipline and self-control and direction in their life. And we gotta do this at an early age, so when they get in their teens, they have that discipline, and all the elements in society won't be able to magnetize and attract them to that activity. I mean, you got to understand that, we got to develop contentment, and we can't have everything that we see or everything that the commercials try to deal with our aspirations and commercialize our aspirations to be. We have to be us, or we got to be who we are. Can't be nobody else. It starts with development of your mind. You got to develop your mind. You got to develop your concept of the energy of the Creator. You got to do that. That's spiritual, that's mental, and also your physical being. You got to do that to keep your temper. You got to be in shape. You got to exercise all three of those areas of your being to become a better human being. And I just want us to feel for each other in a way that is on a vibe of love, so we won't hurt each other. The concept is, hurt people hurt people. What about love people? Love people. Love, not, in a respective of this feeling and the concern, wanting to help and uplift people. That's where we need to develop our social life, our everything. We need to develop that in the aspect of having love for each other and not in development of our community. And know that we are socially, economically, and spiritually under attack by outside forces that use natural forces and all that, like frequencies in the music. They change. One time we had a frequency of, love, the Temptations and all that, and the Earth, Wind, and Fire. And go-go was cool because the go-go, that Chuck Brown beat, or the go-go today, that beat, the sounds of the drum. The drums is a communication tool that was used for us. It's a message in the music, the OJs and all that. But now it's got the screechy, you can't even understand the music, or the rap is they promote. I got bubble gum in my mouth. I'm chewing bubble gum. That's a hit. With no direction, no foundation, no nothing. It's anything. That's to say anything, but whatever. And it's on the airways. So the airways, you listen to it, you driving or you doing whatever, and you listening to this senseless music. See, music is used as a creative tool, an artistic tool. Rap, all that, hip hop, all that is an artistic tool to develop culturally. It's culture. It's a cultural instrument. but it has to serve a purpose. The purpose should always be about growth and development, growing your mind, expanding your mind. But these people know who control the music industry what they're doing, and it's all in it's all in alignment with a social plan that they got. Social engineering is what it is. So we got to be aware of that. That's why we got to pool our resources. We got to develop our mind and our spirits to come together so that we can come together, pool our resources, and have these institutions so that our young brothers and sisters or whoever don't have to walk through those doors and make deals with people that dealing in a negative energy and manipulate your soul. Look at and then when you get too big in the music and you want to go a different direction, control your music and all that, just like they did our brothers, two of them, iconic figures, Michael Jackson and Prince. You think that was like accidental or wasn't planned? Look at Houston, our singer, another great singer. The way her demise came about. Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Prince. Michael Jackson was getting ready to expose a lot of stuff he was trying to say. Prince, the same thing. We just got to listen to what they were saying. Whitney got into a world, but she tried to get out of the world, and for whatever reason, she was murdered, like Michael Jackson, murdered, like Prince, murdered, because the music industry that they go in and be part of is very demonic, really. That's why we got to develop our own industry. We got to do the music industry, the movie industry. We got to do that. We got to do it. So we won't have to go through them doors and make those type of deals. We got a lot of information what goes on there, and people say it don't happen and it do happen. Like even with like Jay-Z and all them and Beyonce got all this money and stuff. And to me, the message, I don't know about the New York message or whatever, but as far as entertainment, some people don't have a high degree of that, but they got a high degree of money, and they say that they be part of this organization or they then went through the doors and they become this and they become that. I don't know. They got a lot of money and they do a lot of things with that money. And Don T said that was in the 90s. It's in the 90s, but this is 2016, so it's a growth and development from that, and it begins there and keep growing or whatever. But we got to change it. But thank you for that, my brother. So that's another area that we must, as a people, come together and realize that we got to control, because we allow other people to control things that affect us. Oh man, you're right. Two brothers again. Thank you, brother. Another two brothers that he mentioned. That's Brother Don T. I'm getting to another level too. What we're doing now is interacting like we're doing now, and once I get really very organized, we're gonna do this. He brought another two great iconic figures, very iconic figures in that area. That was Brother Tupac and Brother Biggie. Same thing, man. That they got in the system of that system, went through the door, made contracts. But Tupac, being so conscious what he was doing all that rap stuff, but people put him on the level of being a young prophet or whatever because of his information and his effect upon the people. And then he was exposing stuff about that activity or about that ritual that they got to go through. Even about, what's that, Quincy Jones, he was exposing some stuff about Quincy. Well, I ain't going to put that on the air, but it's out there, and most people know what I'm talking about. And you're not supposed to expose the details of what you go through. And Biggie the same way, he ain't exposed nothing, but they say, in that sphere of things, he became, what they say, blood sacrifice or whatever. But that's a whole different subject matter. But just going over points that we need to control our industries and don't go through those industries that's being controlled by those who try to have you sell your soul or control your soul. And they not about the interests of your soul. They just about control and coming into their realm of being where they control. I'm talking about them Yahudis, the cover of truth. I'm talking about them Jews. I'm talking about those homosexuals that, they filthy rich. They part of the game that being played, and that's their area of expertise, not only in the music industry, but the movie industry, all that. You got to go through them doors and make contracts. You can see it, what is it? The immunization of men being, kissing each other and all that crazy stuff and making all those signs and all that crazy stuff. It's crazy when you're aware, but if you ain't aware, it ain't nothing. It's just natural. It's the gleam and the glitter. Man, they got all that money and all that, but you don't know what they got to do for that money. What they do behind them closed doors. It's the reality. It's a secret society. Scotch rites, York's rites, and all that Masonic. It's a lot of practice to go on those things, man, and that's one aspect that we gotta talk about. We got to develop around that because we know that exists. We don't know exactly for sure, but people speak on it. They've been through that door and tell you that door. Once you go through that door, that's what you got to do. Some people they use and people make it. My sister Queen. Matriarchy, beautiful queen with so intelligent, so beautiful that she brings the sun ain't up yet, but she'll bring it up. That's Sister Sharia Gant, and the daughter of an iconic figure. One of my brothers that when he was in the ring, I wanted to knock out Sugar Ray Leonard, but that's a great. I'm glad you joined us. A beautiful queen, matriarchy queen, very intelligent. And she's a queen with vision, that she helps people in the community, and she does a beautiful. All I can say is I tip my hat to this beautiful queen. I tip my crown. You have a great day and you stay strong. That's a Red Gant of D.C., Washingtonian sister, with a lot of direction and information. Oh, look at Don T talking about me too. You right, young king, young brother. Oh, you giving shout out to Sister Sharia. That's what he doing. But anyway, and I want to give another shout out to a sister, Doctor Khadija, Karen Khadija. She deals with medicine. She says that same here, Sister Sharia. She deals with informational medicine, quantum health, and she says that we in a paradigm that, the medical system, right? This medical system is based on enslavement too. See, it's all about money. It's not about preventive medicine. It's about curative medicine, so it keep you coming back, right? It keep you coming back to taking medicine, so it's money in that. So she deals with informational medicine that you heal yourself based on quantum health, based on your cells and everything in your body, your temple. It heals itself in a certain amount of time. And the medicine that you put in all these synthetic things in your body, they occurs other effects in your body. You might be taking something for a headache, and it don't affect that. It affect the stomach ailment or whatever, stuff like that. But this is another great sister that I want to give shout out to, that she should be looked up in her her way of dealing with or offering alternative lifestyle to this quagmire deceptive maze that we're in. See, that's what we got to do. We got to have an alternative lifestyle, even though we're in this system and we benefit from this system in a way that on the surface it look all right, but in your mind and subconscious, it's a negative effect because we are not being taught or given the energy of who we are. See, his lies is based on distortion of our story. They got the whole story all twisted and camouflaged that we don't even know the correct, like Native Americans. We don't even know that was us. We don't know that it was more of us here than they say, that a lot of us, or a lot of the killing, the mass suicide, or the mass genocide was of us here, and those Native Americans that they show on TV, that was us. They don't give us that story, that all these people they said that came from Akabuland, Africa over here, a lot of them didn't even make the shores of America, but a lot of them did get to Jamestown. But that's a little distorted. So we got to go in detail of understanding that story, because his lies we can't believe. That so-called his story we can't believe. We got to research and get and go into the historical facts, so we'll know that his lies is not the truth, and our story is the truth. But we got to get at the root of it, from the seeds. The seeds are the root of it. Not saying that we didn't come from Africa and that we can't deny that the connection to Africa, because that is us. But we are the original aborigine and indigenous on the whole planet Earth. On the whole planet Earth, that's who we are. We already spoke, so Sister Soraya and Dante already recognize you. And would you get ready to leave or something? But if you are, be blessed. But in our development as a people, we got to start with the seed, with the root. We got to start with our youth from an early age on up. That's what we got to do, so that we can fortify them when they go in our communities, so that we can fortify them with a spirit of love and not self-hate, that we can fortify them with a culture of who they are, their identity. My sister Lisa, this is a young sister that I met through our communication, through her listening to the program, and she's a sister way up in New York. And I met a brother that's way over in Africa, and this thing is worldwide. I mean, a young brother. I didn't know he was so very intelligent. He's 20 years old, but his name is Abdul Rahman, 20-year-old brother. And man, this brother's, man, what we got to do is connect. And then our connection is growth and development, mentally and spiritually and physically, because we got to stay in shape. We got to keep, physically fit. We got to keep our temple physically fit. We got to prepare ourselves for anything that might go down, because what's the mob? Like I said in the beginning of the program, we get a new CEO of this corporation. And some people say, politics as usual. We know how the system is. But I think it's the ante is going to be raised up, or the political poker that they be playing with our lives, especially our lives, because, it's like we have to realize that there's no need for us now. It's already built. This foundation is already built, but they want more control of it. That's why we got to develop and become entrepreneurs. We got to become. There go the brother right there. My brother Abdul Rahman. Thank you. Good day. Young brother I just was talking about. So you see divine decree, that energy. That's what we have to do. And this interaction is very good. Soraya said we first got to make sure that we all start with. That's right. I be promoting that love and self-love. You start with self-love, love of self first. Overcome the self-hate that's been instilled in us through the social narcotics of white supremacy and institutionalized racism and the Willie Lynch syndrome. All that's mixed up. That's what we be attacked by, we be programmed by. So that's why we got to reprogram ourselves, decode ourselves, because our brain is like a computer. Whatever you put in it, It's got to come out in words, actions, or deeds. It's going to do that no matter what. Whatever you put in, it's going to come out. That's food, just like food. Whatever food you put in, it's going to come out after you get the nourishment from it. The same thing what we put in our mind, what we read, what we think, and what all that, the entertainment, the music, the whatever. It should be about getting minerals from it, because this is a mine, right? A mine has what in it? Minerals, gold, diamond, and all that. So our thoughts should be on that level. We should have high thoughts about development, growth and development. And our connection has to be worldwide, because there's a worldwide pandemic from these social narcotics. But all politics start local. So local, it starts with yourself first. You first, your family, then community, then nation, or whatever. And we got to come together through all institutionalized religion also, because that is a method of divide and conquer. Muslims here, Christians here, and we know the reality of that. The ones that practice Islam or the one that practice Christianity, we'll say them Muslims, or the Muslims will say them Christians, and it being a negative connotation. That's what, with me personally, I took my Kalima Shahada in 81, practiced Islam. I'm still that. I'm practicing it now. But then I got saved, 214, got baptized, 214. But the most beautiful thing happened to me. My chakras. We got to understand the science and the astrology. We got to understand that. We got energy points on our temple, right? It's 7 chakras right in the front of our body or temple. Then we got the kundalini that's on our spinal cord. And what happened in 214 also, that my third eye was open, or I became, my consciousness and subconsciousness merged, so I was more enhanced with my thinking or whatever. And that really happened. And people, used to look at me when I put on my holy garb or whatever, but that's the way I felt inside. And the impression that I was trying to make upon the people is that. I'll give you one quick story. When I used to work, and I was working over the homeless shelter, I was walking down the hall one day, but I just had a kafaya on. That's a Muslim head wrap, right? And I walked past a young girl and her mother. No, they walked past me. Then the young girl say, "Mama, there go God." Talking about me. Not saying that I am God, but I have the energy of God in me. But the thing, my point is this. A young girl could say that a black man is God. Now, how strong is that? The natural. I mean, the purity in her mind. Because she ain't been bombarded with all this programs that these people, Eurocentric indoctrination, she was still pure. And she said, a black man is God. And that is strong. And on the same token, on the side, on the back of that, it was an older person. Same thing, got to confide on. She said, "You look like Usama bin Laden." And I look at her, I say, "Why I can't look like me? Or why can't I look like a holy man?" She, "Oh, no, you look." I say, "Why can't I look like Jesus?" So when I said that, she went off on me. "Jesus, how you going to be looking like Jesus?" The thing is, she been programmed that Jesus cannot be a black man. That a holy man cannot be a black man. It always got to be a stereotype to Islamic or this or that. But that wasn't, I wore that because I'm Islamically inclined. But also when I put on the other stuff and I carry a staff, it's for not no particular religion. It's for the creator in me, that I am holy by nature. I am righteous by nature. But my programming in this world makes me this or that. Makes me have a criminal mentality, a so-called thug mentality, a gangster mentality. But I've been through all that. So I changed my concept, because I said I can't be a part of the problem. I have to be a part of the solution. I was part of the problem. Was a part of the problem because of my program and my inspiration that my aspiration was kind of manipulated. I'm dealing with my friends every day. Peer pressure. Wasn't no peer pressure because I was one of the, I'm the cut up artist or whatever, but I'm directed because when I was growing up, I was always in the dictionary and I come out on the word and stuff, and people be looking at me like, man, what you talking about? And I met a guy that we grew up together. He said, man, they used to call me Fish. They said, oh, here come Fish, and he come with a word and all that. But that's my development. I always love words because I'm a mystical griot or whatever. But we have to develop our children is my point. I say all the things I say out of love for us as a people. And our seeds are the next generation. And that's who we got to develop. We got to have a sincere heart, a sincere mind, a righteous mind, a righteous heart. We have to be a loving people, to overcome the hurt feelings, like they say. Because they say hurt people. But what about people that love themselves? Then if they love themselves, then they'll love people. We got to love our people because we've been programmed to develop self-hate through the social narcotics. The social narcotics that run so deep in our veins because we get it from when we go to school. Even the children we send to school now, in this day and time, what are schools doing? If our children are not fortified with a mentality of academic inclinations, they're dumbing our children down. The school system is the pipeline to prison. And it's all interconnected from the pipeline to prison being for profit. And then where does it come from? The people that make laws that have the prison for profit and that make the laws for our children to get caught up in the laws that are out there and get broken. So that's on us as parents, first and foremost. And as a community, second and foremost, to protect our children, protect our elders, and the things that's going on in our community, we have to control that. We don't need the slave catchers in our community. Talking about the police, we have to do that. We have to be the people that in our community and say, man, you can't do that, man. Come on, man. We know who doing what. See, I ain't going to be talking about no snitching on people. We just got to go right to them people that we know who doing what and talk to them as our brothers with some love and some understanding. And say, man, you're hurting our community. You have to stop it. I mean, we got to stop selling drugs. We got to stop taking drugs. We got to stop killing each other, man. Just think about it. Would you want your mother, son, or whatever to be killed? How do you feel? You don't want to die. You got to reflect upon that, man. We ain't got to do that. We definitely ain't got to do that, man, because it's a hurting feeling. It's a ripple effect. We hurt too many people when we do that. And we got to stop it in our community, man. We got to overcome fear. The fear of death, because we're going to die anyway. We got to die for a cause, but we shouldn't be about dying. We should be about a living. We should be about living because we got a whole natural enemy. We got a whole group of people that's killing us through chemtrails, through frequency. And it's all by design what we're doing when we hurt each other. It's by design. They want us to do that. They want us to kill each other. They want us to go to jail from killing each other. They want our population to stop because they're dying out naturally because the melanin from the sun, they're dying out naturally. They're not having reproductive birth like we are. They're in control, true, this carbon state. We got to understand that Washington, D.C. is a militaristic entity of an international corporation, and London is the financial carbon state of this international corporation, and the Vatican is the religious entity of this carbon state, and it's all for the determinant of humanity. See, they got a plan. They had a plan in effect for years, man. And see, they don't want us to know that we are gods within our nature. The nature of us, this part of this energy is us, and this body is the temple. They don't want us to know that. That's why they inject us with this social narcotics. They inject it into our minds and our hearts, man, because we're in their system. And when people are in the system of the conqueror, we get information and everything. We even get their deity. You know, they talk about God. They talking about, see, we call that energy God or whatever, many names, and it's fractions, you know, fractions. But we need a whole, and we just deal with the creative energy on a holistic basis, and we don't get caught up in we being Christians or we being Muslims or we practicing Hebrew Israelite and this and that to keep us like this separate. But when we come together like this, then we have power. That's the power that we need, unity. We come together in unity. You can still practice and call the Creator what you want to call it, but we come together based on this here. We can't get around this here and what's in our heart and our mind. That's what we got to control. We got to control that. We got to have institutions that fortify our thoughts. See, we develop these thoughts and then we send our children to be programmed. You know, that's a contradiction. We got to develop our own school. We got to become that Wall Street again. Right here in Ward 8 is the beginning of the young brothers that's coming up, those seeds that's coming up, that's now developing roots. And I got to mention a visionary, and that's Trayon White, the Ward 8 council member, that we need to support, get behind, and support this brother with his visions for development of Ward 8. No matter the biases that we had before and all that as a community, we got to get behind that brother and get behind all the ANCs that want the development and growth of our community. This side of Washington, this part of it, that they're trying to take over through like they did Georgetown. We can't let that happen. And we can't let people validate us and say, well, this is the lowest part of Washington, or this academically don't have an academic inclination. To hoot with what they say. We can't let people validate us at all. Because we are a supreme, we are the best of. We got to develop our own connotations of words and everything. We got to change our thinking and the words that come out of our mouth, and don't accept what people say about us. If we do, we're going to be misled and always be led in the direction that they want us to go in this quagmire, deceptive maze that we are in. But when we stand up strong as a people and love one another, in love, peace, and harmony, and developing on those bases, man, we can go anywhere, do anything, man, because the Creator is in us. The Creator is giving us direction through our ancestors and all that. And that's what we got to do as a people, because the Creator give us this breath of life, man, not for this anything. He give us for us to be here, to have purpose here. And on that note, I just want to again give a moment of silence for our falling community, the people that have been killed senseless in our community. I'm talking about the youth. I want to go back to the sister the other day, the elder that got killed over there on Elvines, and I want to just give a moment of silence for that in prayer. Just a moment, and this prayer is for to stop this killing. We got to put this energy out there, because we are the energy of the Creator, and prayer is power, and power is prayer. But we got to pray to our deity. And with that, I want to do a moment of silence, because it just touched me. It just came past me. I want to say amen. I want to say ashe. I want to say hallelujah. I want to say alhamdulillah. I want to say salam alaikum. I want to bring us all together in this one energy. I want to, ask us, man, to stop this. I want to ask our youth, man. I beg of you, man, stop it, man. Put the gun down, man, unless it's in defense of our community. What will make you want to take a life, man? That don't give you no power. That don't give you no name and all that and stuff like that. It takes away from us as a people, man, because you're affecting so many people. You're not just affecting the person that left here, that ain't coming back, that energy here in the temple of his body that he was recognized as, but you're affecting his son, his daughter, his mother, his woman, and all that, man. Then the effects of that, if somebody come back and try to get you and all that, then it's going, you know, people going to jail, people going in the ground, and we got to stop that. Let's be builders, man. Let's be peacemakers and not peace breakers. Let's do this thing. Let's build. Let's show the world. Let's show the world what we made of as black melanated people, man. As humanity, as people that's change, that's making a change, that's getting up this day and looking in the mirror and say, man, God dog it, what am I doing? I'm part of this problem. I talk about the white man. The white man, most definitely, he's not white. He's a European. They're Agathol. That's what he is. See, they use the white and black thing as a color scheme or color code to make them better. White is pure and all that bull crap. But him as a Agathol, they got a plan, and their plan is definitely for us to always be down in the subservient. And a lot of us get up. A lot of us become financially secure. A lot of us through our athletic or talent and all that. But it's still in a system of white supremacy that they are in control. They manipulate us, and then the money that we get, we give it right back to them. Because we ain't like, what his name? I got his name now. LaShawn Marshall or whatever, the running back, the beast. See, we got to have that mentality like him to stood up to this system. And the system try to manipulate him, but he manipulated the system. That brother ain't spent none of his checks that they paid him. He was living off the endorsements that he got. And then he didn't kiss their butt or bow down to them. It was a job. And he let them know that, you know, they didn't have control over it. He didn't sell his soul, you know. And a lot of people, like, we be all into the dude, Steve Harvey. And I humbly admit, I never liked the guy, nothing personal. His disposition and his energy, I didn't like. But what I seen the other day, when I seen a little thing of him, when he was talking about, don't deal with Trump. Don't get behind Trump because he ain't got no presidential this and that and all that. Then the next thing I know, when he came from downstairs, did you see the fear on his face? I don't know if people can look at and deal with body language and all that, but that's what I do. I got a good discernment for that. I'm blessed in that area that people, I know I can read people. I can read people. I know our brothers in the mixed up unnatural, they always say, don't make me read you. But I do it naturally. It's a gift of mine. But did you see how he looked when he came downstairs out of that elevator with Trump? He looked fearful. Let's look at his face and look at the handshake. Trump had him pulling his hand like he had his hand extended, right? But Trump had his hand down here, like pulling him down. Like, I control this. Don't you ever say nothing like you said before, whatever. Whatever you want to read in it, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. If you can go back on Facebook and look up his expression, look at the fear on this brother's face. I don't know what he said or done to him or whatever, but he had the expression of fear or whatever. Because he made a statement before, he was like, da. Then he act like a what? He acted like a wimp or whatever. He wasn't strong. And there's a lot of people, and another thing got on me. I used to look at John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, as real passive and all that because his, you know, I don't know, the way he talk or whatever. But he shocked me when he said, "Man, we gonna boycott this inauguration," you know, trying to promote that. And then what really hurt me or whatever didn't hurt me, I was perplexed. Martin Luther King's son go get an audience with this man. I don't know. It's like politics or as usual or politics, right? Because I say United Snakes of hypocrisy under a satanic administration because of the carbon states that this corporation has really set up. It was a republic, then a federation, then a United States of America. But we know the history of it. We know it's all, man, like it's a corporation. A corporation that's ran by the Vatican, England, and these people here. But it's ran by the Federal Reserve. It's not part of the United States, but they make the money and charge us interest. The IRS is not a part of the United States, but it's a corporation, but they take our money. And then like all this is in the international bankers, the 13 families, and all of it is in cahoots. We got to read and understand that. A good book that we might try to get into, telling you, is Divine Providence. Give you the whole rundown. It's a good read, 800 pages. Another good book, and give you good is My Comedic Soulism. See, we got to read and feed ourselves information pertaining to where we at. Stolen legacy. We got to read. We just got to be readers, and just not receivers of words or people's ideology and indoctrination and stuff like that. We got to do this in the love of our people, and the indoctrination of our seeds. We got to be the indoctrinators. We got to overcome this social narcotics of white supremacy and international institutionalized racism that is international, that become imperialism. And then we got to overcome this Willie Lynch syndrome. This concepts of he got good hair, he light skinned and this and that, all that. She dark skinned, she light skinned and all that. Man, the heck with that. We are human beings with the same energy of the Creator running through our temples, man. The blood and that we bleed, all that. The universe. We have a universe. It's an innerverse. The innerverse that's in us affects the universe. That's what we got to understand. We got to understand so we can understand and overstand and be all between, all over this land. We have to do that in order to be correct in our analogy, or correct in our perception, correct in our lifestyle. We got to do this yesterday because we've been attacked for thousands of years. We got to go back and understand the protocols of the learned elder design and see that this is a process that they've been working on for years to get to a certain point. We got to learn that the concepts of God and the devil and all that. We got to learn about that. See, that's esoteric knowledge, arcane knowledge that, see, they don't want us to learn about who we are. They don't want us to learn the sciences of life. They don't want us to go back in the chambers and the pyramids of our mind where the DNA, the divine DNA, and prescripted pathways that the Creator left in our DNA, that's what they tampering with to make clones and all that. See, we as the scientists, and they stole our science. We living and they applying our science to us because they put veils over our eyes and captivate us with all this materialistic stuff that gets us in the way of the spirituality of who we are, the spiritual reality of ourselves. We can't deal with a natural high, right? We got to have a synthetic high. This synthetic high mess with us in ways unphantomed that we can't even, the 2K or the flacker and all that. But we got to realize that all these drugs that came in our community is worse than the previous drugs. We can go back to the early 50s when they brought LSD in our communities to experiment us, angel dust and all that to experience on. And from that, the love boat and all that. This is brought in our community for us. We make money over it, talking about we hustlers and all that. But we breaking or destroying ourselves in that way of making money. Then they bring in heroin. Then after the heroin, the cocaine, it went to crack, and from the crack to the flacker and the 2K and all that. They had marijuana with its a medical property if it's used in a right way. They outlawed it or banned it, and they had 2K that you can sell in a store, and they know that what it does to you is a synthetic drug that mess with your mind or mess with it stimulates 2 or 3 different highs in you and have you unbalanced. And then they got flocker that has you to the certain point you become accountable. They already, man, it's about programming. They show you movies about the living dead or the zombies and this and that and have you playing games and all that. But all they doing is preparing you because enough people that get on that flocker and all that, they eating people. They become cannibalized. I'm talking about in this reality, in this day and time. It ain't no movie. It's a part of reality. It just ain't enough of them yet. I don't know if they got people in jails or whatever, or holding pens and going to let them out or whatever. We got to be prepared for everything that can happen in this demonic space or realm that we be in that's being controlled by demonic mindsets. And that's about it, almost. Ain't no more thoughts than that I wanted to share this morning, because we got a lifetime. We got a lifetime to develop and to grow together in love, peace, and understanding. And we have to do this. We have to, not only me, but we got to connect. There's so many people with the perception and concept of revolutionary ideology based on the red, black, and green that Marcus Garvey put in, brought us into our being, into our mindset, that we got to uphold. We got to develop a foundation for us as a people, as a righteous people, as a spiritual people, unified across the board. I'm talking about Islamic, Christianity, Hebrew Israelites, or conscious, or whatever. We can't become conscious or enlightened people and be separated, because the energy is one energy and we're connected. We can't let them put a glitch in this energy, in this movement. We got to connect it. We can't let them deter our energy of righteousness, of a divine nature. We got to develop our own concepts. We got to develop the foundation that we can stand on and build upon. We got to do this. We got to develop economically, spiritually, educationally, every aspect of being in this realm. We got to build a foundation. We got to read more. We got to help people that can't read. We got to help each other to do every aspect of livelihood in our society. And again, dealing with politics, we need real people that we call politicians, with a vision for us. If we're going to go into their chambers, the Masonic chambers and all this, that they be the activities they have, we got to be fortified with our truth. We got to be fortified with our job, of the divine job that we were chosen to do. And we got to support whoever was chosen to do that job. We here in Ward 8, we have a movement that we're establishing upon the vision of leadership, young leadership that derive from old leadership, and need the old leadership to support it. We need the young leadership and the old leadership to come together in Ward 8 right now. We need that in this day and time. Because I don't know where our mind at, as far as this political climate that we're in. It seems like it's always split. We always going this way or that way, but we got to get on the same wave, lift the same energy, and go on one way. And the growth and development of us as a people. We got to do this yesterday. Because tomorrow, the new emperor sat on the throne, on this corporation in the United States of hypocrisy, under administrated satanic administration. But we got to be the energy of righteousness and the energy of the Creator to uplift the ideology of that unity, uplift that ideology of righteousness as a people that have our purpose at heart. So I want to say, tell somebody that you love them today. Hug somebody. Be sincere, man. And we got to reach our youth, the young brothers that's on them street corners or wherever they may be at. We got to reach them, man. We got to stop killing each other, man. We already got a natural enemy, man. We can't assimilate in this society and let this society promote our own self-inflicted genocide. Self-inflicted genocide is like suicide, man. We got to have a purpose and aim, and it's not to kill or lame. I see so many brothers that's in wheelchairs. I see so many people that's hurt, man. I see our sisters, man, hurt. I see our brothers hurt. We got to come together in harmony and peace and understanding, man. Understanding the inner verse, so we can have an effect on this universe. We got to defend ourselves from the chemtrails, from the GMO that they feed us, and the water that we be drinking that got lead in it. We got to come together and develop our own institutions and industries to benefit us. We talk about, we got to get the food program like the brothers. We got to take example like the original Black Panthers. and establish, feeding our people every day. Don't wait till Thanksgiving. In Black history, we should teach something about Black history every day, because that's what it takes. We got to develop institutions that are every day of our lives. The principles of Kwanzaa, based on us as a melanated people, so-called African American or so-called Black in this country. This got to be nationwide, but we got to start here first. This is all politics are local. We're not dealing with politics. We're dealing with politics. We're dealing with being in unity of helping each other. Coming together. Coming together as one single force. Let this energy be one. So with that, I say peace, love, and power. I say that with that breath of life that the Creator give us every day, that we do something constructive with it, that we be here to leave a legacy. Each and every one of us. Don't be here for nothing. What that saying is that we say, don't stand there, do something.